Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am the Grand Cat and today we are going to finish off the regular War Games. We are just one match away from winning the Sami Zayn. We have defeated Solo Sikoa, Booker T, Apollo Crews, and of course Lex Luger. And we are also going to make some pros today as well, which are going to be quite cool. I think we've done everything in the Superstore, including the bunches of punches. Although there's no time limit on it, that's unusual. Normally it has a timer running down. Let me just go back out here and go back in, just in case we're supposed to have a free bout and it just hasn't given it to us. Game please, thank you. Okay, there, we've got a free punch. That is something that you need to do sometimes. You need to actually jump out of the game and go back in. Okay, that is not helpful. And of course, we've already done Hype Train today. But let's jump in and see what's in the heroic side of War Games. So I'm going to show you my deck. This deck is... basically, I am what's called sandbagging. You can see there's a couple of like... cards that aren't WrestleMania 40. WrestleMania 40 is like the most basic that you can get at the moment, but I'm using some of these ones simply because I like the title images of them. That is why those are in there. So they're all mainly title images, with the exception of this Trick Williams, that's a down arrow, and Undertaker, that's left arrow. Oh, and Karrion Kross. Some of them are just legends that I like, that I have thrown in there, and other ones, they're of course here because they have a big old championship over their shoulders. So, and also the support that we're using is we are using the Brutus Creed, which is going to give 6,316 to both power and toughness to the entire deck. And we are also using the CM Punk Pipe Bomb, which is minus 21,000 to opponent to power. And also the table is minus 15.92 thousand to the opponent. So the reason that we're using those is because if any stat of an opponent reaches 0, that character is eliminated before the match even begins. So let's just jump right in here and I will show you how this works. Okay, so we have left arrows, we have right arrows, and we have down arrows. Okay, we're going to put the right arrows and the down arrows together. Oh, that is a little bit difficult. Let's go ahead and use a backup, shall we? Okay, that's less than helpful. I think we're going to move Trick Williams over here, and we're going to use a table on this one and see if that will allow us to win. Okay, so we immediately eliminate Sheamus. Unfortunately, if any stat reaches 0, you get eliminated. So I think because of the charisma of Kane and Stone Cold, we're going to lose all 3 of our guys here. Yeah. That is unfortunate, that's what happened. And our AJ Styles is uncontested, as is our Stone Cold Steve Austin, so we absolutely get rings 2 and 3. Okay, next up is going to be... wow, the opponent really wants this ring. And unfortunately it's going to be power and speed, which is very disappointing, because those are things that we do not have. I'm going to use Kevin Owens here because he's got a slightly higher speed than what John Cena has. And John Cena is going to go over here because he's a right arrow. And we're just going to go ahead and proceed with that one. So we do eliminate the Big Boss Man immediately. Not to be confused with the Big Boss Man. But unfortunately, because our speed is a bit lower, we're going to lose these guys as well. So once again, ring 1 is no man's land. Ring 2 and ring 3 are quite happily under control of big old Grand Cat. And we have 2 left arrows. Unfortunately, it's going to be speed again. I'm going to go ahead and use Batista here. We don't have any more supports. And Seth Rollins can just go here. And Stone Cold has managed to win that entire ring on the left by himself. So again, I think these are going to all eliminate each other because of the speed. They did. And there we go, we get 180 plus an additional 80, which is 260. And that is enough for us to get our pro Sami Zayn. I'm going to go ahead and screenshot that. I don't know if that'll be the thumbnail or not. Probably not. We have 10 draft picks now. And let's go ahead and dust those. And that's also going to give us a rare to draft pick, which is going to give us a chance at pulling the limited edition Lex Luger, which we still haven't pulled yet. So let's see if we can get lucky here. I'm going to go with this one. Unfortunately not. You can tell immediately by the shine around the outside of the card. So we're just going to go ahead and dust Liv Morgan. And we are now into the Heroic War Games. I'll go ahead and screenshot that in case that's what I want to use. So the cards in the Heroic War Games are going to be Rey Mysterio, Roman Reigns, Bobby Roode, Jacob Fatu, and of course the Heroic Upgrade for Sami Zayn. Now we also have a Reward Mania, which was for the Lex Luger, and it's only a 1%, the top 1% get the Lex Luger card, so let's see what our reward's going to be. Unfortunately, we only got the 100 super coins, which isn't quite as impressive, and this one is just for support, so I'm going to leave this one. The next one is for a Rey Mysterio. Now, we've already got ourselves, I think it's an F3 Rey Mysterio. We do indeed, so I don't really need another Rey Mysterio. So I might give that one a miss as well and wait until some more WCW cards come up, or maybe if another Lex Luger comes up at some point, we'll go with that. Now, I did say that we had a few other cards that we can pro here. We managed to get 4 Booker T's, so we've got an F2 of him, and we have 4 Santos Escobars, which we can pro as well. Let's take a quick look at our WCW cards actually, because you can pull 10 of them off the draft board, and I want to see how many we've actually got. So one American Dream Dusty Rhodes came from the quest that is available at the moment. I think it's called the Streak of 83. Yeah, the Streak of 83 quest. So we pulled 1 Dusty Rhodes, so that's 1 WCW card. We pulled Jacqueline, which is number 2. We pulled Booker T, which is 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 4 of him. We pulled Bull Nakano, which is number 7. We pulled a Stevie Ray, which is number 8. And I think I can still pull 2 more WCW cards off of the draft board. We also managed to pull the Shockmaster off the Rare to Draft board. So I think you only get 1 of him from the Rare to Draft board. And we've got 1 Sid Vicious from the quest. And we've got 1 El Grande Americano from the daily login streak. So there are still quite a few that we could get. But in the meantime, we've got a couple that we can make pros of. So let's go into the Performance Center. And we're looking at Combinable. And we're going to level up these 2 Booker T's first. And we're just going to go to Combinable here. It's going to make things a little bit easier for us. And let's go ahead and train up our Booker T. That's level 82. Still need a little bit more. I'm just going to go to Unlocked. Actually, I'm going to go to these ones. Okay, it looks like we're using an unhinged card then. Zarya is probably enough. That was a sneeze, that was a grand cat. And a level 98, that's more than efficient. And next up is our second Booker T. There he is. We're going to train him up as well. We have a lot of unhinged cards that we are not using. Okay, we have plenty of material to level wrestlers up. That's what I was just checking. I don't think level 83 is enough, so I think we just might need to max level him. Let's go ahead and see what level 83 does. He still has 8 hours left, so I think we are just going to use the other Zarya here. And of course we need to go into here. And we can now pro our Booker T's. So Booker T, at level 100 with 100 matches and 10 variants, has 58.75 thousand in toughness, 61.07 thousand in power, 74.87 thousand in speed, and 75.35 thousand in charisma. That's probably because of the Spinneroonie. Now, I actually prefer this image. I know that Booker T, of course, did have the short hair in WCW, but this, to me, is a more iconic look for Booker T, in my opinion. So I'm going to go with this one instead. Of course, Booker T has had many, many different iconic looks, including King Booker, which was one of his more famous gimmicks. But this is the one that sticks out in my mind for Booker T. So that is the one that I want to use to represent Booker T on my W Supercard. Let's go ahead and combine. There we go, that is a much, much faster screenshot than what we had for Dusty Rhodes. And there is our pro WCW Booker T, which is very, very cool indeed. Of course, Booker T, a legend in the wrestling industry for multiple reasons, but that is very, very cool to see all the same. And what we're going to do now is we're just going to go ahead and fortify him into an F2 using King Booker. And of course, we have one more here. I might use that for the screenshot as well. I don't know, I am unsure. I just like taking screenshots. And there we go, there is a fortified 2 Booker T. And I think Santos Escobar we might leave for another video. I think we've done quite a bit here today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put Booker T into the Performance Center right now, and let's level him up to not just level 105, but level him up to an F2. Now, of course, this will be him without his matches and without his complete variants, but we can see just how powerful our Booker T is going to look. And how much is this max level? Interesting. So that would be 106 levels. Okay, let's go ahead and go for that one, which is an F1, of course. Still has an hour and 17 minutes left. Damn it. Do we have any draft picks available? We do not. Do I have any draft picks available from the Daily Quest? We do indeed. Let's go ahead and use them then. We'll see if we can use that to level up Booker T without wasting more of our additional wrestlers. Oh my goodness, we've got 45 draft picks. That is better than expected. And we just need to play 6 games in Wild to get another rare draft pick. Very cool indeed. So let's go into the draft board. We've got 45 of these. We can see if we can pull another one of the 2 remaining WCW cards that we still have to get. I would actually really like to get the Goldberg card. Even if we don't get him as a pro, just have the image. Meng would also be nice, but it's the Goldberg that I am most interested in. Although having the F2 Booker T is really strong, especially it's a very good up arrow, it would be nice to have the different images for the different WCW wrestlers. And unfortunately we didn't get anything of any grand interest there, but what we are going to do is we're going to keep hold of these and we're just going to sacrifice all of them to leveling up Booker T. So if I go to recent, and if we just do that and select all, then we can see if that is going to be enough. And it was, just barely. Now let's see what our Booker T currently looks like. If we go to General, there we can see Booker T without his 100 matches and with 5 of his 10 variants, he now has 74.32 thousand in toughness, 77.26 thousand in power, 94.69 thousand in speed, and 95.32 thousand in charisma, which is very cool indeed. And you can see that he has now overtaken our Clash and Powder Seth Rollins and our American Dream Dusty Rhodes, but of course that is all going to change once we get them all maxed out on their stats, and we will see what that all accomplishes and looks like in the end. It might even be more powerful than our Dragon Lee. In fact, a Fortified 2 Special Edition card, which is what Booker T is, should be stronger than Dragon Lee. Should be around the point of this Razor Ramon is where his stats should be by the time that he's finished. But I am going to get back to playing the Heroic War Games. Also, it's very annoying that the points didn't roll over because we're back to 0 once again. So let's go ahead and jump in and we'll just play another quick game of War Games. We may even play a couple of War Games, I'm not sure. Okay, those ones are fine. That one's a little bit less fine, as is that one. So let's go ahead and use the backup. Okay, that's an up arrow. So we'll throw that one over here. We're going to go ahead and use the table to protect Stone Cold Steve Austin here, because the charisma would eliminate us. The speed might eliminate these guys, but unfortunately we can't use 2 supports at the same time, so that's going to have to do. Okay, thankfully we did manage to win that one, so it looks like the opponent is using power and charisma, which means that we do win this one, because this one's toughness and speed. Okay, so now that we know what the opponent is using, we can use that to our advantage. So this one is power and charisma, which is unfortunately the 2 stats that the opponent uses. Oh, we know that the opponent uses charisma on here as well. Nothing is affecting this one. So we're just going to get rid of this opponent, and let's put Warrior in here. Everything else is all up and down arrow, which unfortunately sucks. So we're going to put Ray in here, and we'll go ahead and use Seth Rollins. And we'll go ahead and put Dominic into this one. So thankfully I managed to take out The Rock before he took out any of our cards. I think this is going to eliminate everyone because Randy Orton's charisma is so high. And of course, this one was uncontested, so we get to keep that ring. And now it's going to be down arrows, which, well, we might as well just go for the strongest down arrows that we have. So this one's power, so we definitely win this one. This one is charisma, which we would lose if the opponent put anything in there. And this one is toughness and charisma, which I think is going to eliminate everyone because we don't have the charisma to stand up against the opponent's support that they're using. And there we go, we've got 180 points, plus another 80 is 260. Which brings us closer to getting our Valor Rey Mysterio. Now we do have 7 more rare to draft picks here. Well, not rare to draft picks, regular draft picks. I'm just so used to throwing the word rarity in front of draft pick that I misspoke, and I apologise, ladies and gentlemen. And let's just go ahead and finish off these War Games matches before we finish up the video. We've had to do slightly shorter videos recently because, well, we don't have SummerSlam Rocks anymore, which was a very, very cool little thing. Just go ahead and put those ones there. I'm going to use the table in this one so that we win that one. And Sheamus with power and toughness should be able to win that match. Okay, so the opponent is also using power and toughness. So that's interesting to note. And yeah, our Sheamus did manage to beat Cody Rhodes here. We do also have a super move now, so we'll use that in the next round. Okay, so this one is speed. So neither of us are good on speed. This one is charisma. Again, neither of us are good on charisma. So I'm going to go ahead and do that one there. I'm going to put Stone Cold in this one, and I think we're just going to go ahead and use Trick Williams here to give us a little additional speed. So in this one, we should win. Like, Seth Rollins only loses half of his stats. All these guys are completely fine. And this one, we should keep all 3 of our cards. Okay, so the next one is toughness, which is fine. Let's go ahead and put AJ Styles in there. We should win that one. Opponent isn't contesting us this one, and this one is speed, so we're going to go ahead and use our CM Punk Pipe Bomb to win that match. There we go, things are going a little bit better in this game. Oh, it's Zangief. That puts up to 320. And there we go, we managed to get the Rey Mysterio in just 2 games. We're now onto the Roman Reigns, and the points do roll over. They just don't roll over when you complete the regular side and go into the heroic side, but when you go from one card onto the next card, the remaining points do roll over into the next one. So we're against Dark 2 Lotus here, and you can see by the number of wins and losses that this is... I don't like using the term pro player because pro implies that you're doing it for some kind of income, you're doing it professionally, but certainly there are players out there that have significantly more wins. I am one of them because I have been around for such a long time. It's a little bit different from the people that have like 5 wins. Now we do have the super move, and I did say that we might use the super move here, but we shall see what the opponent wants to do. So we're not going to use the super move here, and the reason for that is because the super move only affects the people in the rings that are actually fighting. So if we were to put a wrestler here, here, and here, only the one here would get the double stats from the super move. So, because that would be the only one that's fighting. And then when it moves on to the next round, the ones here and here would be very, very easy to defeat. So it's like, do Don't really want to go doing that then. So let's go ahead and put Roman Reigns here. We'll go ahead and use Kevin Owens here. I think I'm going to use a backup actually. Okay, that is Eddie. Now we don't know what stats the opponent is using. So I think we maybe just throw everything in here. And I'm tempted to use a table. In fact, I think I will, just to make this a 3-on-2 and see what happens. So we know that we've got ring 1 and 3. It's what ring 2 is the questionable one. So the opponent is using power and speed. So we're actually in a pretty good position here. We lost the Rey Mysterio, but we managed to keep the other 2 cards. And now we know the opponent is using power and speed. So those are the things that we need to concern ourselves with. So this one is toughness, so that is completely fine. Roman Reigns should have no problems there. This one is speed as well. So let's go ahead. So we don't want to use right arrows here. We'll put Trick Williams in here. We'll go ahead and use these here. And we don't even need to use the pipe bomb because I'm so confident that we will be able to win that match that we don't need to. So let's go ahead and continue. And of course, this stat here, the roadblock, only activates if there's any matches. So if there's not a match happening, then the support of the roadblock won't activate. And this one is Charisma. Now the opponent's using power and speed, so Charisma is also fine. So I'm just going to use something that has the highest Charisma, that isn't affected by the minus 10% with Charisma. So we're going to go ahead and use Sheamus. Even though AJ Styles has slightly higher stats, Sheamus is not affected by the minus 10. And we're going to go ahead and use the pipe bomb in this one to make it a 2-on-3 match. And let's go ahead and proceed. And there we go. Sheamus was the difference maker there. He managed to keep that ring for us. And of course, we've got these other 2 rings already taken care of. And there we go, 328 points. We're now halfway through the Roman Reigns. Oh, the Olympic hero Kurt Angle. He won 3 gold medals with a broken freaking neck. Was it 3 gold medals? He certainly won multiple medals. I don't know whether it's 3. He certainly won a freaking gold medal with a broken freaking neck. I don't think he had a broken neck for all of his medals that he won. Right, so this opponent now only has 5 wins and 1 loss, which is significantly different from the previous one. So that means that they are probably a new player and they are on this SummerSlam tier. They don't have over 100,000 wins like the previous opponent did. So this can actually make them a little bit harder because they're not using supports to make their deck stronger. They genuinely have cards that are on that level, which means that their stats are a little bit more rounded out. So let's go ahead and play. And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. That sometimes a newer opponent can be a lot more difficult than a veteran opponent. Okay, so this one's toughness and speed, this one is just speed, and this one's power and speed. Everything's involving speed here, and speed is not one of our good stats, which is a little bit difficult for us. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this here, and we're going to use a table here, which is hopefully going to do it. In fact, actually, can we take that back? No, we can't. Since we've got something in all 3 stats, now is the time for us to use our super move because it will affect all of our cards now. So let's go ahead and use our super move. And you'll see that the stats will now get 100% boost. And also with that super move, it means that our cards cannot be eliminated the first time around as well. It's almost as if they get an extra life. Now you'll see here that Roman Reigns won't be able to beat... oh well. Oh my goodness. Oh, we still get the boost. even though we use the table. So that's very, very cool. I didn't actually know that. That's interesting. And of course, Ultimate Warrior will be able to beat Drew McIntyre here. Okay, very, very cool. I've learned something here today, because I thought if you use the table, then the match wouldn't happen. But it seems that the match still happens, even though your opponent doesn't have any cards. So that is very, very cool indeed. Looks like the opponent is just in refusal to play anything. And, well, we will just take advantage of that if the opponent doesn't want to use anything. Sometimes it's almost as if the computer can become a bit salty, where it's like, oh, well, if you're going to use a super move, then I'm not even going to bother playing. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to upset you, computer. Because you can see there that the opponent is just refusing to play any cards. Which is a little bit annoying, because we get points based on how many opponent's cards we actually beat as well. So I'm not sure why the AI does that. It's the artificial intelligence of the computer's opponents, the computer's cards. Sometimes they just stop playing. And you'll see that I do have a little bit lower than what I normally have. We only got 308 points that time, despite the fact that we owned all 3 rings. Whereas the previous game, we got 328 because we beat a few of the opponent's cards. It's also only going to give us 4 regular draft picks, sorry, because we beat less of the opponents. Okay, so this one has 10,901 wins, which again is not quite as much as Big Old Grand Cat, who currently has 306,352 wins, because I am ancient. Oh, it of course changes. And we're now against Kuroko, who only has 81 wins. And you don't really need to look at the losses. I know that there's, 81 wins, 15 losses. The losses genuinely happen when you're trying to train up cards. It's really not an indicator of how well or how good or how bad a player is. This, unfortunately, sucks. Because we don't have any left arrows, we don't have any up arrows, and the right arrows that we can use aren't being contested. So, going ahead, put Seth Rollins in here. So this one's toughness and charisma, this one's toughness and speed. Interesting. I think we're going to put Trick Williams in here, and we're going to use a table to try and win that match. And we're going to put our bigger attackers, Rey Mysterio and Batista, into this one and see how they get on. Okay, so we should be able to beat these guys. Okay, so we lost Rey Mysterio, but we still have Batista. It looks like the opponent is using a stat that increases their speed. Okay, so that one's toughness. That one we should be fine with. This one is power, which we should be fine with. Power and charisma is a little bit harder, but the opponent is putting everything into this one, which is good for us. Let's go ahead and do that. We'll go ahead and put John Cena in here, and we'll just put AJ Styles in here just to make sure. And I don't need to use my CM Punk Pipe Bomb, because our toughness should be stronger than the opponent's. If it was speed, I would be a little bit more worried. You can see there's a few feral cards in there, which is what you need to watch out for when you're playing against a newer player, because they won't be deliberately sandbagging their deck, they will just be using the cards that they have access to. And this one's all power, which those ones are going to be fine. That one's going to be a bit of a problem if the opponent puts anything in there, as is that one. So let's see what the opponent wants to do. Or is the opponent not going to do anything? It looks like the opponent has just decided that they've decided that they're not going to play anymore, that they're done. So I guess we'll just have to accept our victory. In my mind, I like to think of it as the computer's like, no, your cards are far too powerful for me. I'm not going to play anymore. I'm just going to sit here with my arms crossed and I'm just going to click pass. And it's like, oh, okay. I'm sorry I offended you, computer. I am merely trying to get myself a heroic Sami Zayn. Let's go ahead and dust those. But of course, the computer doesn't actually have any feelings. I'm not sure what the actual reason is for that. Oh, this person is using a profile picture that isn't showing up. That's very interesting. They only have 3 wins and 3 losses. I've not seen that before. I'm curious. What does the profile picture show up as? Okay, well, they're using Paul Heyman, which is power and toughness. You can actually, if you're just like paying attention to the beginning, you can actually see what support they're using. It's just that while I am commentating or I'm looking down at my cards, I don't normally look at it. It's largely because you don't really need to. So we know that it's power and toughness, so our charisma is going to be the same as theirs, so that should be fine. This one is toughness and speed. Let's go ahead and put in our Eddie Guerrero there. And we'll go ahead and use Roman Reigns on that one. And I don't think we need to use the table or the microphone at this point. I'm going to go ahead and use it here just so this becomes a 2-on-1 for the charisma, because we don't know what cards the opponent's going to be using. Okay, we absolutely picked the correct card to eliminate there, because otherwise that would have been a problem. And that was just sheer luck. And, oh, our speed is going to lose us here. Yep. To big old Rick Steiner, I believe that was. Okay, the opponent is loading up this first one. So this is power and toughness. Power and toughness is totally fine. We're going to go ahead and use these here. Go ahead, do that there, and put Sheamus in there. That's probably enough. And I'm going to keep the CM Punk pipe bomb for later. I feel like Roman Reigns and Sheamus should be able to win this. So there's one big Sami Zayn in there. But other than that, yep. I thought Finn Balor managed to survive somehow there. And of course we win the other 2 rings. Okay, so let's go ahead and use Ultimate Warrior. And use Rey Mysterio. And is the opponent not wanting to do anything? Really? Alright, I guess we're just going to go ahead and win then. I think I'll put this down as a tutorial video for War Games as well, since I rarely show how much I'm actually playing and also what the thought process is behind my matches. So maybe this will help out some of you out there if you're having any issues with War Games. We've got another 300 points there, and you can see that we're already halfway through the Unhinged card. So we're not that far from getting the heroic Sami Zayn, which means that there might... Oh! Well, that's cool. We pulled another American Dream Dusty Rhodes right at the end of the video, which is going to give us an F1 of him. So it does mean there's only one more WCW card for us to pull. And we're going to go ahead and dust everything apart from the American Dream Dusty Rhodes. And let's go ahead and make him into an F1 before we finish this up. So we've got 8 minutes and 55 seconds left before the next bout. I am, of course, using the point doublers. Generally what I do is I buy the 600 credit one just to help speed through these so that I have enough time to do stuff with the rest of my weekend. So next up is going to be Jacob Fatu, and then of course it's going to be the heroic upgrade, and then that is us essentially done with SummerSlam 25 tier. And the next thing is to try and get ourselves a limited edition Lex Luger as well. but we'll see how we're going to go about getting that if we even get him. So let's go ahead and fortify our American Dream Dusty Rhodes. And there we go. There's an F1 for the son of a plumber, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. With that said, folks, that is now going to be it for this little video, and I really hope you've all enjoyed. And if you did enjoy it, please give me a like, share, and subscribe. And if you are subscribed, make sure you click that notification icon so that you can see when more of these glorious little videos go out. And we shall see you all in the next video. Goodbye, everybody.